Welcome into the first game of the 2023 season. Vestavia on the road taking on the Mountain Brook Spartans, a couple of playoff teams from last year. Of course, Mountain Brook in the 6A championship, Vestavia with their first playoff win in years and making it to the second round before succumbing late to the Thompson Warriors. Hello, everybody. Scott Griffin here along with Chad Pilcher, the former Ole Miss quarterback, Vestavia resident. Of course, B.J. Milliken down on the field as well. And we're ready for our first game of the year. Chad, 7-5 last year, a lot to play for. As you know, Robert did not back away from meaningful football in November. The goals have not changed.
Year two of the Robert Evans era here at Vestavia Hills High School, and there's nothing like the start of a football season. The fans are in the stands. The players have been working all summer long to get ready for this moment, the chance to take the field here tonight. And for Vestavia last year when they came into this football game, there's a lot of questions. First-year head coach, nobody knew really what to expect. This year there are expectations because of what happened last year. It's a team that started out a little bit slow, 1-3, but then got hot and was playing as well as anyone in the state by the end of the season. So Vestavia comes in having lost a good bit, but also having some really important pieces returning for this football team, and so there are high expectations for the Rebels.
Let's take a look at the series between Mountain Brook and Vestavia. You saw the score from last year, and I thought we played a better second half last year, but Mountain Brook kind of jumped on us early with John Coffin, the quarterback. Vestavia actually leads the all-time series, but, Chad, Mountain Brook has won a ton in a row. The last time we won, we even had to go to overtime.
It's a series that Mountain Brook's really taken charge of, and a lot of the time when Mountain Brook was winning those games, Robert Evans was the defensive coordinator at Vestavia. He's now here at Vestavia as the head coach, and his good friend Chris Yeager, the longtime head coach at Mountain Brook. But it's part of the rebuild at Vestavia and what they've done with Coach Evans coming in. These are two programs that are on the rise and playing really well, and that's what makes this such an intriguing Week 1 matchup.
It's a very similar, as you said, philosophies, coaching styles, players. A lot of these kids, hang around each other. It's a very good rival game, but I don't get the sense that it's nasty. Do you? It's just a good strong rival game.
Great respect. Coach Evans always talked about he and Coach Yeager having coffee together every morning, and they're very close, and I think that respect between those two coaches carries over between these two teams. But you can hear these fans here tonight. It's hot. This game was pushed back 30 minutes because of the heat. But folks are here. The place is packed, and they're very excited for this football game.
Welcome back to the pregame show. Scott Griffin here with head coach Robert Evans. The Rebels, a great year last year in his first year, 7-5. Couple of playoff games, one win, and almost like 3 minutes to go with the lead against Thompson, who of course have won 4 straight state championships. Before we talk about that game, I was impressed last year because you came in, there was no excuses. You were talking playoffs from day one, and everybody kind of looked at you like maybe you've lost your mind a little bit.
Yeah, well, you start with the end in mind, and the end in mind for us is always going to be playing in November, hopefully. And you can either make an excuse and say the coach speak correct answers, we're going to take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and all that kind of stuff. But you don't shy away from, we want to be there in the end when it matters the most. And we did that last year to a degree, and now it's how can we take the next step? And there's I think people assume there's a linear progression where you just naturally, but you don't lose the amount of seniors with the talent we had and it be a linear thing. So this team has a new identity, and looking forward to kind of seeing what happens Thursday night when the lights finally come on and we kick off at 7:30. A place like Vestavia, probably once every 4 or 5 years, you're going to have a team that's good enough to compete with anybody in the state. But we still didn't get over the hurdle, even though loved that team last year. I had a lot of senior leadership, but we have to find a way here to win the games against the better teams on our schedule. And we get a chance to do that right out of the gate with Mountain Brook. They've been one of the 4 best teams on our schedule. And then you got Trussville and Thompson and Hoover with the region. And we were in all those games last year. And how do we find a way, probably not as talented as we were last year, but how do we still find a way to be there in the end and to get over the hump consistently?
As I start on offense, John Paul Head, I thought had a great first year in the system and played well. Offensive line was good. I thought Tonsmeyer showed flashes, Keon Richardson, some others. Kind of tell me what you see there. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and like I said earlier, we have some guys that can do something with the ball. We got probably 6 or 7 guys in total. All of our skill guys can do something, run after catch, or making something happen out of the backfield. But it starts with John Paul. He's a leader. Kids look to him. He's been in big moments. He's a tough kid. He's committed to Casey at UAB in baseball, and so I think he's just looking to have a big year, and I think he will if he stays healthy. And then, William Tonsmeyer's returning at running back, and another baseball kid that's going to have some offers, but multi-sport kids, which is kind of the name of the game here. We have more multi-sport athletes in football than any other program in the state, to my knowledge.
Defensive line was a lot like the offensive line. Some size, some senior leadership there, Andrew Sykes, some guys like that. But you still have some playmakers. Jacob Watson is a guy that will get some looks, or probably already getting some looks right now as his junior year is about to begin. But last year you had him standing up. The center was going nuts trying to know which gap he's going to shoot. But you moved him to linebacker. Tell me the thought process.
Well, he wanted to move. And we always just kind of have a program rule. You start where you want to play. Because typically you're going to kids are going to give more effort or be more engaged if they're where they feel they're best, and gave him the opportunity to win that job, and he won it going away. He's a thumper for sure, and he's kind of worked on his conditioning and agility to be able to play more in space, and so and he's also on our heavy packages some in offense, and so.
Brook, of course, we're not going to regurgitate the feelings you have for Coach Yeager and his feelings for you guys. It's a special relationship, but looks like you're going to play every year, so we're not going to talk about that all the time. But, they're going to be well coached. They're going to do different things. Colvin's a preferred walk-on at Auburn. But you say their offense has a chance to possibly be better, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. The 2 running backs, that's where you start with their offense. Cole, I can't remember Cole's last name. Cole Gamble. Been away 2 years now. Cole is a really good player, and he's got Division I offers for a reason. But the backup, I believe it's Jack King. He was actually a Vestavia kid, transferred after his 9th grade year. Right. And those 2 guys are horses. They have 2 really good offensive linemen, and Courtney the guard, and Watts Alexander the tackle, who will play somewhere on Saturdays. And then, the receiver, 21 for them, is fantastic. Mountain Brook will be extremely well coached. It's almost like Christmas morning, like you get ready for the last couple months, and you get to open up whatever they have, whatever they come out in, and you're right on some things and you're wrong on some others. But I think we're in a better position to play this game this year. I hope we are. If not, it's my responsibility. And looking back on the game last year, we did some dumb things, and you don't take credit away from them. They outplayed us and outcoached us. So it's a great. I love opening with a rivalry game. It's challenged us schematically. It's challenged us physically to match the physicality of getting these guys on the ground and trying to assert our own will offensively on them defensively. So I think it'll be a fun game, and I think the fans are in for a treat. And it's 2 battles of styles, and we had this conversation today as a team. Their style won out last year. They're kind of ground and pound, short in the game, didn't let us get up and down. And our style is an up and down aggressive. So whose style will win out?
Let's go to the graphic now, where we take a look at the numbers for Vestavia. First winning season, Chad, in a few years. The most wins, though, in about 8 years or so. The most points scored in 10 years at 34 points a game. It's the most points, by the way, we've ever had in 7A. And our first playoff win in about 8 years. A lot of firsts and things to hang your hat on from last year.
No, Vestavia stepped it up, and what you said, it got better as the season went along, which is what you expect this year, to start a little higher.
All right, our third member is B.J. Milliken. We'll go to him in just a moment. And we got the national anthem right now. here from Mountain Brook Spartan Stadium. B.J. Milliken is the third member of our crew, and B.J. has some information on the other thing that's changed for Vestavia is there's a lot of colleges hanging around campus these days. B.J.?
Yeah, Griff, definitely. You know what a difference a year makes. Last year about this time, a guy by the name of Jordan Ross was pretty much unknown outside of the state of Alabama, and of course outside of or inside of Vestavia Hills High School. Everybody knew who he was, but nobody else really had him on their radar. He had 2 offers going into the season. Well, that changed a little bit. He was also unranked by rivals and uncommitted, obviously. Well, fast forward to August, and now he has 21 offers, and just as of Monday, he committed to the Tennessee Volunteers and Josh Heupel. So, oh, by the way, he has 21 offers if he just decides to change that up. So what a huge difference that is. A year under his belt of experience playing football. Hey, he only got better with every game last year. I expect to see him in the backfield a whole lot tonight.
All right, BJ, thank you very much. And that's not the only guy. We'll tell you more about some other guys coming in as well. We're going to take a break here on the Vestavia pregame show. The Rebels and the Spartans at Mountain Brook. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done and the technician leaves, I want you to be really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
John Ballhead, senior quarterback.
William Tonsmeyer, junior running back.
Caden Taylor, senior running back.
Jane Daniels, senior receiver.
Cooper Mollison, senior receiver.
Ken Richardson, senior receiver.
J.D. Livingston, junior O-line. Landon Page, junior O-line.
Hill Hewen, senior O-line.
Ford Brown, senior offensive line.
Caleb Boylan, sophomore O-line.
Bruce Littleton, junior tight end.
Jordan Ross, senior edge.
Chuck Hammock, senior defensive lineman.
Harrison Faust, senior nose guard.
William Plaisance, junior D-line.
Jacob Watson, junior linebacker.
Gibson Bean, senior linebacker.
Grayson Bruno, junior linebacker. Kane Daniels, senior DB. Cohen Nelson, senior cornerback.
Boucher, senior safety.
Spence Hanna, junior safety.
Cross Tonsmeyer, sophomore safety.
Welcome back to Spartan Stadium. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, B.J. Milliken, the Rebels about ready to run on the field. This is going to be an outstanding game. Now, the Spartans have lost 9 players starting on defense a ton on offense, but as you and I were chatting early, it's not much better for the Rebels losing 4 offensive linemen and 3 of the 4 defensive linemen on top of some linebackers and secondary guys.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a really important focus tonight up front on the line. Which offensive line, which new players who haven't played in this type of environment ever before, they're going to come in a big-time game, and how are they going to respond to this situation? Because I don't care how much you practice, I don't care how many JV or freshman games you played in. When you step foot on the field in this type of atmosphere in a varsity football game for the first time, it's totally different. So how are those offensive linemen going to respond? You talked about Mountain Brook missing and losing so many guys on defense. One guy they have back is a cornerback, Tucker Crawford. He had 2 interceptions last year versus Vestavia Hills to seal the game in the 4th quarter. For Vestavia, it all starts and it ends offensively with John Paul Head. He threw for over 1,800 yards last year and threw for 14 touchdowns. He rushed for over 1,100 yards and 24 touchdowns. That's a total of 38 touchdowns for John Paul Head. He injured himself earlier in the week at practice, hurt his hand. He has recovered. He's going to play tonight, but there was a little scare earlier in the week. So good to see him out here ready to go, but we will watch that. Does he take a hit on that hand? Does it affect it? But he's ready to go here tonight, and the Vestavia offense starts and finishes with John Paul Head.
Captains for tonight, as we talk about the captains, John Paul Head, Keon Richardson is down there as well, number 8. Caden Daniels, a cornerback, is also a captain for tonight's game. And Gibson Bean, the linebacker, is also there for the Vestavia Rebels as they're at midfield. Vestavia, of course, in the all-white, the white helmets, the white jerseys, the white pants, and the Spartans are in their Notre Dame type gold helmets with the green jerseys and the gold pants with no stripes on it. We'll see who gets the toss here. There's our student cam getting a great shot at midfield. Beautiful night for football, and I am grateful, I know you are, that they moved the kickoff 30 minutes. I think it's made a huge difference.
Well, I think it's made a big difference, all this heat, in the way teams are prepared. There have been a number of teams, because of AHSAA rules, haven't been able to practice in pads as much as they would like. Have to wait a little bit later to go out onto the field. So preparation has been a little more difficult this year than it typically has been because of those rules and because the heat has been so extreme.
All right, we're going to ask B.J. Milliken. BJ, this is impromptu. This is not on script. I need you to step in front of the cold fan that's to your left and tell me exactly how that feels. I'm going to guess that's not heat.
Let me see.
But it's actually.
Yeah, that is nice. I think I'm going to stay here the rest of the game.
I was wondering why you were standing 10 feet over there away from it.
I will say it feels much better right here than it did over there. I don't know if y'all can hear these guys, but the Vestavia student section right in front of me, they're fired up.
This is a great crowd here tonight, and if you haven't been here to Mountain Brook Stadium before, they don't have stands on each side. The main grandstand is all on one side of the field on the home side. So the visitors and home split the seats halfway down the middle. So it's a cool look. The Vestavia students on one end, the Mountain Brook students right around the 50-yard line, and then a lot of people standing back here on the concourse with us.
There's a good shot of John Paul Head warming up on the sidelines, and here come the Vestavia Rebels. Rebels are fired up tonight.
Vestavia won the toss. They're going to receive here tonight. And I'm going to be, I think, early in this ball game. How does Vestavia come out and set the tone? Offensive coordinator Josh Franklin for Vestavia, he wants to go fast. And that's going to be a real contrast as you watch this football game tonight. Vestavia wants to go fast. Mountain Brook wants to control the tempo of the game, go a little bit slower. So it's going to be back and forth all night long. And who gets into a rhythm early? For Vestavia, if they get into a rhythm and start rolling, this offense is very difficult to stop. But for Mountain Brook at the same time, if they're able to slow you down the way that they want to, They really control the ball game, start eating up the clock, and before you know it, it's midway through the third quarter and they're up by 3. So a couple of really noticeable contrast in styles, but works for both of these programs.
So back deep for the Rebels. Chase Webb is back deep, but he is a very, very quick runner. And I think that's Matthew Ledbetter as well, deep. So Webb and Ledbetter deep. There's the kick, and nobody's going to return that. Nice kick. Harrison fell, putting it in the end zone for the Spartans. And the Rebels will begin right there on the 20-yard line. John Paul Head, the senior, as you heard Chad talk about, 38 touchdowns, 24 running, 14 throwing, and that's including a game or two missed because of injuries, or he would have been into the 40s. Head running up the middle, and he gets very good yardage, about 5 over there, before he was brought down by Drew Widener.
And don't hold your breath, because here comes the Vestavia offense back up to the line, ready to snap the football again.
Vestavia will put the foot on the pedal. Nothing has changed about that. Bruce Littleton, who played quarterback last year, gets that snap. And he's too good an athlete not to be on the field, but he'll lose a couple there. The offensive line will be a work in progress. There's some nasty guys up there, but there's not a lot of girth.
No, and it's going to take time for them to gel, to learn each other. Only one returning starter, and so it's just going to take a little bit of time to get going. But when you have backs and a quarterback like you have in the back, that helps them develop a little bit more quickly.
Head drops back, throws, man open, Keon Richardson to the 38-yard line, but there's a flag down. We'll see what the flag is. I don't know if he was covered up over there, procedure, we'll see. It's a hold on Vestavia. Third down, 17 from the 13-yard line, we'll call it. Split receivers, Chad, and the lone running back, Tonsmeyer. Play action, going deep. Chase Webb, but nowhere close.
No, but that's an important play early in this ball game. First off, that's one of the better balls I've seen John Paul Head throw. He's clearly been working in the offseason to throw a better ball. It's an outstanding deep ball. And you take that shot early just to make sure that the defense knows that that's an option. That makes them play a little bit looser. So I like that play call, but it shows you penalties can kill, and you always see them happen a little bit more early in the season. Instead of having a first down, the drive continue, and you had a third and long, and now you're punting.
Could it be that they wanted to see how he threw the ball? Possibly, as well as the reasons you gave, right? Owen Simpson on the kick. I'm not sure if it hit somebody, but I'd be falling on it. Vestavia has it. And they're saying it's Mountain Brook's ball. Possibly. It was very close. Let's see the replay. Owen Simpson on the kick. Take a look.
Yeah, I think they got it right, but that was a dangerous play by Simpson to even get close to that ball. That's the type of situation you want to call Peter and get out of the way. He did not, made an effort for it. Mountain Brook very fortunate, but as a result, they do have very good field position. They're going to start this drive on the 43-yard line.
The Green Home Solutions instant replay. Here's Mountain Brook with their odd things that they do under Chris Yeager. Handoff on the outside. Cole Gamble, they had him split at wide receiver, but he's really their best running back. 2,200 yards last year. And he gets a first down there, and they're going fast right now. Handoff, King, who played at Vestavia a few years ago. It's his second year with Mountain Brook. Gets 5 or 6 yards. John Cooper, the new quarterback, 6'2", 192. He can play. Second down, 6. Here's Sanderson. Fumbled football. It's loose. Who gets it? And I think Mountain Brook fell on it. Clark Sanderson, who will have some offers. Of course, his dad, Craig Sanderson, from Alabama, many years ago, you remember. Third down and 4.
Vestavia didn't come up with that ball, but that was an outstanding play that time by Beauchet, the strong safety, coming up, not only to make that tackle and get his hands on it, but to knock the ball loose in the open field. Outstanding play, and really interesting start for Mountain Brook. They're giving Vestavia some of their own medicine. Rather than being slow and methodical, they have come out lightning fast. I would expect this to be 4-down territory, so we'll see what play call we get here on a third down, although looks like we got a call from the referee.
Illegal motion or shift.
Yeah,
so that'll back them up a little bit. But they had, you're right, they had gone fast until that play and then get a penalty. So that'll make it, I think it's third down. The marker over there says second down. Did they erase that play? I guess.
Yeah, they'll replay that down. So stay at second. And we'll see how this penalty affects Mountain Brook. They would have had a third down and about 4 with probably 2 downs to pick up the first down. Instead, they're already back second and 12.
Handoff to Gamble around the right end. He's going to pick up about 5 back of that. So it'll be third down at about 8. Whistle and timeout, Vestavia. Let's take a 1-minute break. Vestavia with the timeout. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. Use your tax money for something that will make a huge impact at no cost to you. For more information, go to choosera.org.
Cooper, the quarterback. Third down and 8. Drops, looks, throws at the flat, wide open. Gamble out there. I don't know how you leave him out, but somebody's supposed to have that zone, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, you saw Mountain Brook shift right before the play, and as they did, both Coach Evans and defensive coordinator Sean Rainey were jumping up and down, pointing for the players to shift over, and they didn't. And so they got the Vestavia defense with the shift. That left a man wide open. They're able to capitalize and make that play.
Spence Hanna on the tackle. There's a handoff. Nope, Cooper keeps it, and he'll get good yardage on the left end before he was belted down there by Beauchet, a free safety.
Yeah, Mountain Brook just a really good drive coming out to start this football game, doing exactly what they want to do, controlling the ball. Now you see them taking a little more time, but they're running a lot of misdirection. They're doing some nice shifts up front.
Little cross buck action. They hand it to King. He's going nowhere.
Jordan Ross. It's the first time we've said it this year, but it certainly won't be the last. You know, he had 44 tackles last year. The stats weren't crazy gaudy, 3.5 sacks, but he disrupts football plays, and he's all over the place. And when his motor is going, it's plays like that that change the entire game. you've seen a lot of this football game being played on Mountain Brook's right offensive side. They're not going to come over here to where Jordan Ross is. So he's absolutely disruptive. That time they tried to come his way. He blew through the offensive tackle and made that play in the backfield.
They'll bounce him around this year, too, because teams will try to run away, and he'll go in the middle some, and he'll roam around a lot. 3rd down and 8. 17 tackles for loss last year for Ross. They throw it inside, and the receiver went outside, so that was a miscalculation. Caden Daniels over there on defense.
Well, and that play again was disrupted by Jordan Ross. He absolutely bull rushed the offensive tackle, shoved him all the way back in to the quarterback, who got hit by his own player as he let go of the ball because of Jordan Ross and his rush.
So here comes the field goal attempt. Harrison Fell will try this 29-yarder to try to get Mountain Brook on the board first here with 15 seconds in the first quarter, or 8:15 I should say, and another timeout for Vestavia. Robert Evans is not happy. You don't want to waste a timeout on a field goal attempt. So we'll keep it here. And I'm not sure what that would have been about on that particular play.
And it's going to be very interesting to see how does this defense get going. There's a lot of new players, especially on this defensive line. You've got Jordan Ross, but you got a number of new guys. William Pleasance, Chuck Hammock, Harrison Faust, Jacob Watson is back at that Mike linebacker spot. That's a lot of experience that's be very helpful, but how is that defensive front going to play? That's going to be a big story, especially in the early going of this season.
Clark Sanderson will hold. High snap, the kick is up, and it's good. So Mountain Brook scratches first, 3-0. We'll take a break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, BJ Milliken, and our crew. 3-0, Mountain Brook. The kick, Chase Webb is there and will return it. Straight up the middle, and he'll get back to the 20. Kind of a awkward hit there by Mountain Brook, but no harm, no foul. And the Rebels will start just about where they were last time.
Vestavia came out on the first drive of the football game, started with a John Paul head run. Really nice game. We're making some progress. Picked up a first down on a pass play, but it came back due to a hold, and then after a long incompletion, forced to punt it away.
Tight power formation. John Paul Head finding blockers and just throwing his big body up forward, and he'll get 5 yards doing that. We'll take that every time for a 2nd and 5. The tackle by Harris Vanoski.
And John Paul Head, not only the 1,100 yards, 177 carries. He averaged 6.2 yards per rush last season.
Handoff, it looks like Littleton. He's inside in the secondary, straight towards the goal line, and he gets to the 37-yard line. So that's a 12-yard gain for Littleton.
And Littleton's a guy who played quarterback last year and some receiver, some running back. Playing running back, you'll see him at tight end some, kind of in the slot. He's a great athlete, and they're going to get him the ball when they have opportunities.
Vestavia's not a big offensive line, but they're scrappy. There's Head with a ball fake, and he comes up, and he's close to first down yardage. He might be 1.5 yards shy. As Vestavia going in a hurry, Tonsmeyer checks back in at the tailback. He gets the carry on the right side. Good kick out block there. And he's got the first down and more. A nice kick out block by Landon Page, the junior right guard.
Yeah, really nice rhythm here by Vestavia. Some nice play design as well, using motion to move the defense and then running right back where the players left.
John Paul Head's going. He's got a man. Keon Richardson. And Richardson with the catch. And a beautiful throw that time.
So let's go ahead and dress the hand. The hand is fine. That's another outstanding ball by John Paul Head. So pretty. Look at the
got
spiral.
a man.
Perfect
Keon
ball to Richardson on the corner route.
Tonsmeyer, right side. He's got room. And he'll get down to the 14-yard line. So that's about a 8-yard gain. 6-yard gain, they'll call it. 2nd and 4. Vestavia rolling right now on the big catch to Richardson.
That play's a great example. You go deep, it loosens up the defense. You're able to come right back underneath, right up the middle, running the football.
Tonsmeyer patient that time in the hole, and it paid off as he waited for his blockers, Chad, and picked up 6 or 7 on the left side.
Really nice job pulling around, let the play develop, and then hit the hole to get inside the 10.
Caden Taylor is in there in that Tucker Smitha role, right, where he sits in the backfield a little bit, tight in a little bit. You see him there flanked off the right tackle, leading the way for Head here, who's spinning and grinding inside the 5-yard line. And they'll mark it at about the, we'll call it the 4-yard line.
Now here comes the heavy package into the ball game. Jacob Watson coming in the backfield.
Littleton in there, 200 plus, Head 200 plus. Head just runs it behind a bunch of guys, still fighting. His knee went down. He might be a couple of yards shy.
Yeah. And they're going to take a heat timeout here at the halfway point in this first quarter. But when you come back, I would expect you're going to see John Paul Head running the ball right back up the middle.
We'll take a 1-minute break for the heat. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done and the technician leaves, I want you to be really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back. Vestavia threatening the ball on the 2-yard line. John Paul Head inside, touchdown. John Paul Head behind the offensive line there. And the Rebels take the lead 6-3 on a nice answer after the field goal.
The first drive was tripped up by the holding penalty. That one was to perfection by Vestavia. It really looked like mid-season form for this offense to come out throwing the ball all around the field. Great job of running the ball up the middle, and nice execution to put 6 points on the board.
Carter Shirley was perfect last year, and he's perfect so far in 2023. 7-3 the score. We'll take a break, come back. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Your future is here at Birmingham Fastener.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, B.J. Milliken, and there's the kick by Shirley. Good kick, about a yard back where Sanderson picked it up, but that'll be a touchback. Let's go down to our colleague, B.J. Milliken.
Well, guys, we mentioned it in the pregame. All of the replacement players who were not here last year, the offensive line replacing 4 of 5, only one returning starter, and that time, that drive, they pretty much dominated the Mountain Brook defensive line. That's got to be a good sign for Robert Evans.
Absolutely. Cole Gamble around the left side. He's belted out of bounds. He is the 2,200-yard rusher. Spence Hanna came up big and strong. He's been a thumper in fall camp for the Rebels.
Yeah, Hannah's been outstanding, a guy whose motor has been absolutely running. Coach Evans has tried to dial back his aggressiveness because he's worried he's not going to be available for the games because he's going so hard in practice, but you love to see kids playing like that.
Cooper hands it again. This time stopped in his tracks is Gamble, and that was Watson. Yeah, Jacob Watson, who was the nose guard last year. You remember him standing up, playing gaps. He asked to move to linebacker this year, Chad.
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he's a guy that can play pretty much any position defensively. Obviously goes in at fullback as well. He's done some Wildcat quarterback also, so an all-around athlete and outstanding football player.
3rd down and 6. Cooper looks right, throws right, got a man, Sanderson. It went through his hands, and a couple of Rebels there in coverage. Bean with that broken hand you see, and then also Boucher on the coverage, and the Rebels force a punt.
That was a great series defensively. Mountain Brook continuing to mix it up, push it around, but a really, really good job.
But you got to be careful, Chad. I'm sorry.
Well, and now back to punt.
Cooper, the quarterback, was what I was going to mention.
Charlie Taft, the freshman quarterback, back here to return punts. He's a guy that needs somebody sure-handed. He had the best hands that they've seen in fall camp, and here he is as a freshman.
And he can really fly. And he makes that one in some pressure on the Mountain Brook side of things on the 48-yard line. So 4:59 to go in this first quarter. Rebels on top, 7-3.
And a lot of momentum for Vestavia. Great drive offensively, quick stop defensively, and now you come right back out. Would not be surprised at this part of the field, the way this football game's going, that they take a deep shot here early in this drive.
Littleton off left tackle, missed it, made a guy miss, lowers his shoulder, and he's got a first down with a 12-yard run. I see a flag down, though, and we'll see what it's about.
It's likely to be a formation issue against Vestavia.
12 yards. There is a flag on the play.
That's holding again. And both of those calls have been by the line judge, so it's not something up in the middle. It's on the outside edge. And what you tend to do is when you're on the outside, the defender obviously sees the running back coming, reads the play, and takes off. That natural instinct is to reach out and grab, and that's what they've gotten now on both sides of the offensive line for Vestavia is guys reaching out and grabbing. They've gotten those holding calls, and so that's going to negate what was a really nice run by Bruce Little.
I was going to say, races a 12-yard gain is the problem. So first down and about 18. Play action, head throws it out. He's got the valve over there at Tonsmeyer, but he might lose a couple of more on that. Might have been well served to throw that in the turf.
But that wouldn't have given Tonsmeyer the opportunity to just unload. Great, nice job, John Paul Head, just trying to get rid of the football. And then Tonsmeyer lowered the shoulder over there on that sideline. Short game, but he just hit Hampton King, knocked him over. You can hear a little ooh there, and we're going to get a sideline warning against Vestavia, and that's not going to make Coach Evans very happy either. You've seen the coaches going up and down trying to back guys up, and I will tell you, though, this sideline is packed. I can't remember a high school game where you saw this many people just spread out all over.
And look at the sidelines.
Yeah, it's
down
crazy.
Here.
That's what I'm saying. People everywhere.
They're in the end zone, like 2 yards out of the back of the end zone. So it's a big-time crowd. Head drops, pops, got a man, Richardson. Boy, he's got the speed. He's added 10 to 15 pounds. They give him cushion. That might be there all night.
Yeah, that was really well executed, and that puts you in a really good spot for this third down play. Now 3rd and 8. So you went from about a 2nd and 20 to now you're at a 3rd and 8. Very manageable, and you're probably in 4-down territory depending on what happens here on this 3rd down. That's a big pickup, and we've seen some nice pickups several times here from John Paul Head and Richardson early in this ballgame.
Richardson visited UAB earlier this summer. Littleton now, a little power formation. Mann is also there. Splitting out now, Tonsmeyer, and I think they're going to call timeout. There's confusion on the play that Josh Franklin called. We'll keep it here on the timeout. Littleton looked like he was confused. John Paul Head, you see, letting the emotions out a little bit, and they're straightening that out right now, Chad.
Yeah, Head a little frustrated. Looked like he might have wanted that call a little earlier. The coach is frustrated because, look, you got 3 running backs on the depth chart. They were all 3 in the ball game for that play, and when you're used to being in a certain spot, especially early in the season, you only have so much time in fall practice to try and rep these things. And so confusion there. Vestavia calls a timeout. That's all of their timeouts here in this first half. So we're already we're still in the first quarter. Vestavia out of timeouts for the half. But nonetheless, they avoid the penalty, and now they'll come back up on what's a 3rd and 8.
Seven to 3 Vestavia, 4:38 to go in the first quarter. Vestavia with a nice throw, head to Richardson about 12 yards to set up a chance and a shot here on 3rd down and 8. 3 receivers split out right. Looks like the same play, doesn't it, Chad?
It is.
Trips. Mann's out there. They got good blocking. Mann chose to go outside, and he might be just shy. Chad, what do you do here?
They're going to go, but he made the wrong decision. That was great
Should've
blocking
cut
on the
right?
edge by both Tonsmeyer and Littleton. If he goes up the middle, he easily gets the first down and probably another 5 or 10 yards. Instead, he chose to go outside, and that forces him into a 4th and 1. Fortunately, that's something that Vestavia is pretty good at in the short game.
The other thing he did, he hesitated, right? He didn't decide immediately, so that might have cost him a step or two as well.
Vestavia last year on 4th downs, 12 of 21, 57% conversion rate.
The clock is getting down to 5 as more confusion. Head gets it, and I don't know why you would even think about it. Let 13 lower his shoulder and get in there, right?
Yeah. Every team knows what's coming when that's happened. It's just really, really difficult to stop it, especially when you load up. Look, he's difficult to stop in the regular order of things, especially when you load up with a heavy package. Brought in Charlie Ingram as well to assist in the backfield.
Jordan Ross was out there for 1 minute. There's Cooper Mollison with his first catch of the year. And kind of an ugly hit, but I don't think anything was illegal there. And he'll get to the 33-yard line, about a 5-yard gain.
Went up pretty high. That's why you saw the reaction on the Vestavia sidelines. And Mollison's now going to come to that sideline, get checked out, make sure he's okay.
2nd down, we'll call it 6. He got 4 on that play. Vestavia driving a little bit, negating that holding penalty at the 34-yard line. And boy, it's a good fake. Head, I thought Tonsmeyer had it, so did half the crowd. And Head continued to hold on to it to the 28.
And if you're Mountain Brook, you're trying to break in 9 new starters on defense, and the first offense you face is this Vestavia offense that's multiple, that's fast. It's hard to get the signals in really fast. That's a really tough assignment in week 1.
3rd down and 2. Head, this is usually his territory. He's down the right sideline. Still going. John Paul Head, touchdown. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. Let's take a look, Chad, and see what happened.
Just really well blocked up front. Tackle pulling around. And then John Paul Head finishes it up. A little talk there at the end. But a great run, great execution by this Vestavia offense. Really good rhythm that last drive. It keeps it going on this drive. Great start to this ball game for the Rebels.
13-3. Carter Shirley on to try to make it 14-3, and he does. And there's flags down on the field. We'll see what that's about before we go to break.
There is a flag on the play.
Illegal shift on Vestavia.
Illegal shift on Vestavia, so we'll play it again.
Yeah.
Illegal shift.
Back Shirley up 5 yards, make him do it again. Can't say enough about this offensive line. They've looked really good. Had a little bit of hiccup and a couple of holding calls here and there, but as far as the pure blocking up front, they've done really nice. J.D. Livingston pulled around on that touchdown run by Head and led the way.
Shirley on again. Be a little bit further back, but it is up. And it's good. 14-3 Vestavia. We'll take a break. Come back. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
When you have an appliance problem in your home, call On Time Service. Our appliance technicians will arrive on time in trucks fully stocked with hundreds of replacement parts. From stoves and ovens to washers and dryers to refrigerators and dishwashers, it's appliance repair on time or we pay you $59. And always backed by the on-time service guarantee. For appliance repair, call the Appliance Pro at On Time Service.
And we had the kickoff there. Mountain Brook ran it out to about the 25-yard line. Again, they get quick out here.
I think it shrinks every single year. I mean, we've shortened our breaks down, but the time that they take, they are ready to go. There's a set time you're supposed to follow, but they get in there, they get it set, and get ready to rock.
Gibson Bean looks like he's trying to adjust the helmet. And Robert is wondering why his helmet's not working. So they'll get that figured out.
And Bean's only got one hand to use to put that thing on and off, so it makes it a little more difficult after injuring his hand.
That's exactly right.
Here in camp.
When you have an appliance problem in your home, call On Time Service. Our appliance technicians will arrive on time in trucks fully stocked with hundreds of replacement parts. From stoves and ovens to washers and dryers to refrigerators and dishwashers, it's appliance repair on time or we pay you $59. And always backed by the on-time service guarantee. For appliance repair, call the Appliance Pro at On Time Service.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. Use your tax money for something that will make a huge impact at no cost to you. For more information, go to choosera.org.
Tonsmeyer 11 carries last year for 34 yards. Ball fake, Head under pressure, and boy, you got to secure the football. And he didn't do it. When he felt the pressure, Chad, he didn't tuck it away. Quarterback no-no, as you know.
Yeah, go with the play action. Good pressure in the backfield. They were going to take a shot on the post route down the field to Keon Richardson, but just really well defended up front by Mountain Brook. You see the pressure. They brought two linebackers from the play side. Got in the backfield, made the tackle, ball comes out. Nice job by William Greer McDuffie on the blitz and the sack.
John Paul wanted to make a play and should have just tucked it away, and they knocked it away from him. 1st and 10. Cooper, play action, throwing it deep, got a man, knocked away. Good play there by Daniels, who's really come on in his play. In fact, B.J. Milliken knows that Daniels is getting looked at as well, isn't he, B.J.?
Yeah, a college called Erskine College in South Carolina. Got an offer this summer. It's up in Greenwood, South Carolina. They're a D2 team. But, hey, an offer is an offer. That's a big-time thing for Caden.
Yeah, Caden's just a starter this year and already getting offers, as King got the handoff up the middle for about 4, so it's 3rd down at about 6.
Yeah, and for folks around here, if you're a football observer and you hear D2 or you're used to watching Alabama and Auburn, I don't care what division you're getting offered by. If you get a college football scholarship offer, you are a stud. And it's hard to get those. A very small percentage of high school players get the opportunity to play in college, so congratulations to him.
Gamble in motion. They come back with a comebacker, and I guess that was Sanderson. That was a nice play design because Gamble goes in motion. They fake it like they're swinging out to him, and Sanderson comes back in the middle, but just falls to the ground as Vestavia is right there.
Yeah, well defended, snuffed that out from the get-go, and now on 4th down, Mountain Brook's going to line up to go for it. You're looking at about a 4th and 7, just inside the 35-yard line. Too long for a field goal and probably too close for a punt, so here they go.
And he tried to find Gamble on a cross route and threw it behind him, so the timing off on that one. So Vestavia gets it on downs.
And that time Cooper rushed a little bit. I think he thought there was more pressure than there was. He never really got his feet
He had
set.
time.
You could see him kind of pitter-patter in those feet. Never got them set. He let that ball go a little high before Gamble was looking and ready for the football. So a nice stop by the Vestavia defense. And now the Vestavia offense takes back over. 4 minutes, 53 seconds left in the second quarter.
It'd be nice to put another one on the board before, and there's a timeout, Mountain Brook. We'll take a 1-minute break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
Welcome back to Rebel Sports Nation Network. 14-3. Head at quarterback. Hands to William Tomsmeyer. Breaks the tackle. Breaks another. But he's knocked out of bounds for a little bit of a loss there as the Spartans were up to the task on the Tomsmeyer carry. So they lose a yard, do the Rebels.
Yeah, not much there, but that was a fun play to watch. William Tomsmeyer not going down, not willing to go to the ground. Took a couple of licks and bounced off of him.
They throw it out to, I think that's Jaden Daniels perhaps, at the wide receiver. He had 4 catches last year.
Play made 6 yards.
And he got 6 yards on that one, so 3rd down and a manageable 6.
3rd down.
In motion, Daniels. Fake to Tomsmeyer, head up the middle, and if he'd have just broken the tackle by James Hard, the senior, he might have gotten that 1st down, Chat, but he couldn't break the shoestrings away.
That's exactly what happened. Looked like he had an opening if he could have gotten through there, but a nice job of getting the handout, tripping him up, and Vestavia's going to punt it away. So after a really fast start offensively on both sides, kind of a couple of drives moving it up and down, these defenses have settled in and started to kind of control this football game here in the second quarter.
Clark Sanderson deep for Mountain Brook. Owen Simpson to put it away. That's a nice high kick. Sanderson has to get it. He fumbles it, and let's see who falls on it. Sanderson may have gotten it, but it's still loose. Vestavia has the football. The Rebels have the football. Great hustle down there by the Rebels.
1st and 10 on the 22.
And I think Thomas Hokut, the linebacker, on the special teams got it.
And if you watch that replay, you saw right at just the very last minute, those eyes of Sanderson. They were looking at the ball right at the last minute. You saw his head tilt down. He looked down at the defenders. It's just ever so slightly. You take your eyes off the ball. That's what caused him to drop it, and Vestavia fortunate to get on it. Looks like Sanderson might have had a chance to get back on there. He did not. The Rebels recover. What a huge turnover at this point in the ball game.
Handoff. Tomsmeyer, left side, rumbling and stumbling down into the 12-yard line. So that's a 1st down for the Rebels.
Love to see the physicality with which Tonsmeyer's running. Last year, he had 120 yards, 120 carries, 599 rushes, averaged 5 yards per carry. But you see those extra yards he gets after contact. Really looks different this year.
John Paul Head, patient runner when he runs with it, finds a seam and ducks in behind that, and he'll get 5 more down to the 7-yard line. Vestavia student camp taking a look.
2nd and 7.
Appreciate our students helping out with the camera work. Head, hands off, kind of a delay there. And Tonsmeyer only got a couple as that hole closed quickly.
3 yards on the play. 3rd and 4 on the 5.
Looks like, again, confusion a little bit. Looking to the sidelines. They brought in the heavy package. You do have Jordan Ross in the backfield again, along with Charlie Ingram. Littleton's running back next to Head. 7 seconds on the play clock.
Head throws the fade. It's Ross. Does he have it? Touchdown! John Paul Head to Jordan Ross, the defensive end, for the touchdown. How about that? Wow, Jordan Ross getting on the offensive side of the football a little bit, like Calvin Johnson over there in the corner.
And Henry Bell, the junior cornerback, he's lined up man-to-man against Jordan Ross and just no shot. Throw it up for the big man, let him go be an athlete. He's a basketball player as well, and he went up high, made that catch for the touchdown.
Carter Shirley on for the extra point. High snap by Ingram, but he gets it down. And the Rebels are on top, 21-3. We'll take a 1-minute break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done and the technician leaves, I want you to be really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy. Really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy.
That ball to be thrown away. He didn't touch anybody. He didn't deflect the ball. He didn't knock it down, but he made the rush. He forced the ball, Cooper, to get rid of the ball before he wanted to, and he threw it straight in the ground, and as a result, Mountain Brook's going to punt the ball away.
He'll get a quarterback hurry out of it. That's about it, right?
That's right.
He had 10 of those last year. There's whistles blowing the punt dead, and we'll see what the official says.
Vestavia had 12 men on the field, so again, another mistake by the Rebels and not having timeouts. You sub in your punt team. Looks like they were in a little bit of a version of a punt safe, but they did not get all the defense off the field as the punt team came on, and as a result, 12 men on the field, and Mountain Brook keeps the drive alive. So put an asterisk by that play.
So now that's a big mistake for Vestavia, and it's a first down for the Spartans. Boy, there's Ross inside. He whipped the right tackle, and with a big-time sack of Cooper. Just exploded off the edge.
And Daniel Ellis is trying. There's just nothing you can do. When that young man gets going, it just can't get there.
He had him again and hit him low. He'll get a quarterback hurry on that too, Chad. That's 3 straight plays that he's caused problems.
Yeah, again, the right tackle The play before, Ross just outran him to the outside. So what do you do that time as a tackle? You're going to edge out a little farther. So Jordan Ross very wisely cut back inside, got to the quarterback, hit him as he let it go. He's disrupted 3 plays in a row.
3rd down at about 20. Football has to get to the 48-yard line. They'll hand it off to Gamble, just try to get field position, and he'll be knocked down at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, smart play by Coach Yeager and Mountain Brook. You run the ball, you stay in bounds, and Vestavia does not have any timeouts left. So that's going to run the clock all the way down to about 20 seconds before you punt it away.
4th down and 13. And Mountain Brook will try to milk as much of this away as they can. 14 and counting on the play clock. So they'll snap it with about 20 seconds unless they call timeout. Or take the penalty.
This has been a really good half by Vestavia. They've done some really good things. Coach Evans is going to have plenty that he can point to that can improve. But when you look at some of the offensive execution, you look at some of the plays and the way Jordan Ross is disrupting plays. I thought Gibson Beans looked really good at linebacker, the way he's flying around, even with the injured hand. The offensive line has had some good moments. So this has been a good half for Vestavia. A game last year where you went into the half trailing. This year you come out, you're leading 21-3. That's assuming you don't get a big run back. Maybe you get a big run back and you can take a shot here before the end of the half. But it's been a really, really good half by the Rebels.
4th down and 13. 20 seconds to go. You just want to make sure, well, they don't even have anybody back to field it. So let it go, right?
Yeah, don't want to make a mistake. You want to get into the half for Vestavia. You've got a great situation going. You got a big lead. Don't want to force some kind of fumble that might give them points.
You're just going to play defense here. And there's the kick, and it'll bound harmlessly. And probably deadened somewhere near the 20-yard line of the Rebels. And they may have to take one snap. And they will. 4 seconds to go. There's some coaching going on there. Coach Sean. Cross Tonsmeyer also plays a little safety over there for the Rebels. He's already got a couple of carries tonight, too.
Does a great job. That was Sean Rainey, defensive coordinator. He was previously, it's his 2nd year here. He and Coach Evans have a long history of coaching together. He was previously the head coach at Spain Park. And Coach Evans has talked about just because of the trust they have and Coach Rainey really getting back ingrained to the system. Coach Evans been able to spend more time with the entire team, even some with the offense, because he trusts Coach Rainey so much.
They do have a similar mindset. John Paul Head will just take a knee in the shotgun, and the Rebels have got to be happy with the first half. B.J. Milliken will have the halftime interview with Robert Evans. And we'll see what he has to say about it before the band starts coming out here. And let's go down to B.J. Milliken right now.
Coach, first half of the season, some sloppiness. How would you assess it?
It's about the worst coach half in the history of high school football to be up 21-3, and that's my fault. But it's first game, getting stuff worked out. Got some substitution stuff that we messed up, and then saw something on their field goal that we did not like that was kind of out of the ordinary, and so we were safe and sorry with the way these guys operate. They're very similar to us, but you know, both teams are just gassed. I mean, it's soaking out here. And it's going to be a battle of attrition in the second half. And I'm just telling you, I've been on that side, and they'll come out swinging. We got to finish this game. And we talked today about trying to finish fights with hammer fists. I love the UFC and all those fights and the finishes. They're all the same. Hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist. And that's kind of my message right now to them at halftime is to finish this game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
That's Robert Evans just dripping as he heads into the halftime, but obviously happy somewhat, Chad. 21-3, Vestavia up.
Yeah, it just tells you how much, plenty to improve on, and plenty of things that he can identify that went wrong. But Coach is a perfectionist, and he's going to keep working on that. But also up 21-3. So if you can play like that and still be up 21-3, I think you'll take it all day long. He's right. Mount Brook's not going to go away. They're going to come back out. They're going to fight. So we'll see how Vestavia responds. You saw Coach Evans soaking wet. we're sweating like crazy, and we're just standing up here talking about the game. It is so hot down on that field. So that's going to be something you got to watch. You got to keep putting fluids in. And again, hopefully these guys have been putting fluids in the last several days to get ready for this, but that's going to be a factor in the second half.
All right, Scott Griffin, Chad Pelcher, BJ Milliken, the Rebels on top 21-3. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.